cup. Wait for the cup. Everybody can take it up. Yeah. I was away. Leave the whole operation falls apart. Now, play ball. Tommy. Hurry up, dude, your buddy's calling. I don't mean knock. or Big Top? Oh, Big Boy, yeah. Good. You? He'll make you a better one. But don't sweat in it, because if it gets hot, it'll fall off. For the buddy?
The Cheap Seats Live Saturday morning sports show on WLCN 96.3 and WLCNonline.com is brought to you by Jake's Furnishings, 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Furnish your home for less at Jake's. The Grimaldi Law Office, Logan County's only law firm dedicated exclusively to the practice of criminal law. Phone 651-8089. The Christian Village, 1507 7th Street in Lincoln, a community of compassion. Phone 732-2189. Eaton Corporation, America's choice for top quality, high-performance electrical equipment for over 50 years. Lincoln College, providing students the best educational experience since 1865. Go online to lincolncollege.edu for more details. St. Claris Manor, their team's dedication is what makes them special. Phone 735-1507. Community Action Partnership of Central Illinois. We're here to help. In Lincoln, call 732-2159. Schneider Chiropractic, 523 North Elm in Lincoln. For the best in chiropractic care and maintenance, call Dr. Alyssa Schneider today, 217-732-2140. Joe Ryan, Country Financial. For all your insurance needs, see Joe Ryan in downtown Lincoln or call 217-735-4385. The Hampton Inn in Lincoln. Call 217-732-6729. At the Lincoln Hampton Inn, we love having you here. Lincoln Printers in downtown Lincoln. For all your printing needs, including vinyl graphics and banners. Phone 217-732-3121. Lincoln Printers since 1970. Grau Incorporated on North Kickapoo Street in Lincoln. Logan County Chevrolet, Buick and Cadillac dealer since 1953. Phone 735-4444. And by Four Corners Lube for the best full-service oil changes, transmission, and radiator flushes, brake service, and lawn care needs. Stop by Four Corners Lube at 1101 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln.
Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM. Listen to us on the go. Download the Mixler app, or you can watch us live as we stream on YouTube. Scott Kirby, Jake Johnston, Joe Ryan, Lloyd Kirby, and Jim Ash with you this morning here at Four Corners Lube. And right off the bat, we have a guest on the line.
Oh, a guest.
Good morning. You there?
I'm here, Scott. Good morning.
Right.
How you doing?
Good. Mr. Sam Knox, former Lincoln Community High School Activities Director, and now with the IHSA. Sam, thanks for taking some time this morning. It's probably been a busy 3.5, 4 months for you, Sam, as the COVID-19 pandemic has hit, and a lot of things have been canceled. Obviously, the rest of the school year.
A trip to Italy.
Yeah, spring sports, and now we're focusing on fall sports and getting back to school. And the IHSA has come out with a lot of new information that maybe you could share with us this morning.
No, you're absolutely right, Scott. It's been probably the longest 3.5 months of many of our lives. As much as we all love the high school scene and high school sports, it was just so frustrating back in March when everything was canceled suddenly, especially for the Railers, who had a tremendous season going, and they were rolling and clicking at the right time. I went and watched both of their regional games at Bloomington High School and just saw an amazing team that I knew we were going to be handing a trophy on the final weekend of the season. So that was especially heartbreaking for all of us.
Yeah, you're right.
We've come out recently with some guidance for schools on how they can start to return to play, hopefully very safely, hopefully very efficiently, with groups of no more than 10 people gathered in June, where they can just do some basic exercises, agility, stretching, weight room stuff that get kids back in the swing of things, because a lot of these kids have been active to some degree, but most of them have been sitting around doing not much the last 3 months, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's it's going to be a hard thing to kind of facilitate. It's new to everybody. And how did you guys come up with this kind of format? Are you guys working closely with the IDPA, and how does this go about?
That's exactly right. It's nothing that we just came up with on our own. It's certainly a cooperation between the IHSA and the IDPH and the Illinois State Board of Education and the government restrictions that have been handed down to all of us. So we're not in position to really go outside the boundary lines there of what has been shared with us by the government. So we're trying to work our best within that framework. And then hopefully by the end of June, we can move to phase 4, which would allow gatherings of up to 50 people. And we've already shared some language with schools of what that might look like, and get back to using a football, a volleyball, a soccer ball, a basketball, blocking sleds, kind of get back to what normal summer contact days look like. Still include the temperature checks and the asking kids about their symptoms, etc., but to try to continue to do things in a safe way to hopefully get back to normal by the fall.
Well, I like the word normal. I don't know if there is a normal anymore, Sam. Everything's just kind of, everybody's lives were turned upside down, and, it's still going on a little bit with all the restrictions. And have you guys taken a lot of heat, or have people been kind of receptive for the most part?
I'd say receptive for the most part. Anything that, whether it's a new policy from Lincoln High School or something new from the IHSA or wherever, you have both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
You have the people who really say, yep, that's a great idea, we're totally on board. You have the other end of the spectrum of people who say, oh my gosh, I can't believe the IHSA came up with this, what a rotten plan. And then you've got a lot of people somewhere in the middle. So we've received pretty good feedback so far from our member schools. They're supportive. They know that it stinks right now to not be able to get equipment out and do normal things in the summer, but they realize this is a step in the right direction, and what they're able to do right now with kids, groups of no more than 10 and just some basic exercising is much better than everybody sitting at home wondering what's next.
Right, and I think that's what people are just looking for right now, just some kind of information, some kind of direction, basically hope. There's a hope that school's going to be back in the fall and all fall sports, and I think people just want just to hear that's in the process, and the future's looking pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. I pray every day that no matter what happens this summer, my prayer is that we have a school year and that we have fall and winter and spring sports for the next school year. I've jokingly told people the last few days, I said, hey, I'd much rather be back being an athletic director, dealing with an upset parent about a situation, or burnt popcorn in the concession stand, or a spill on the basketball court, than all the mess we've gone through the last 3.5 months.
Absolutely, and that's what people don't understand, the behind the scenes of the time and the effort that you guys are putting into this, and the decisions, and how you put all this together. And it's not like you just wake up one morning and say, oh, this is what we're going to do. It's a process that you've been working on for the past several months.
Yeah, and it's we all like to have handbooks and guidance and get the book out and what do we do in this situation, but we can't even call anybody and say, hey, how'd you guys do this back in 1994 when this happened the last time? Because there wasn't the last time. I kind of put it this way: we're driving down a road where we've never been before, and we're drawing the map as we drive down the road. What an uncomfortable feeling, right?
Absolutely.
But it takes a lot of good people to try to do this the right way, and I certainly hope, years down the road when we look back at all this, not just the high school sports scene, but just life in general, going to Walmart, going to church, all those things we took for granted, I guess. I hope we look back and say we did this the right way, and I certainly hope we don't look back and say, boy, we really overreacted on this whole thing. We could have done it a lot differently, but I guess time will tell.
Now, has this kind of opened your eyes how much you rely on sports, not just the high school scene, but, the professional scene as well? We're used to going home at night and turning on a baseball game or, a basketball game or just being involved in something. And now, I don't even watch TV much anymore. And it's just, you don't realize how much in sports is a part of your life until you don't have it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree with you, Scott. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. It's nice to watch the old reruns of classic games, football, basketball, baseball games that we all enjoyed from years ago. But I really want to watch games where we don't know who's going to win, right?
Right.
I miss watching the Cardinals on TV every night.
I don't miss that.
Miss watching them dominate the Cubs all summer long.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Well said. You're very
we'll
well
get back to that soon, but it seems like even the baseball folks, all the billionaires in the world can't figure out what to do. So
clearly Sam's a very knowledgeable baseball.
Yes. Well, we're going to find different guests, Jim. But you say that, and I just got my money back yesterday from Cubs card ticks that I bought back in March, and so I don't even know if there's going to be baseball, Sam. The way the sides are going at it, I think the difference is 10 games, and now the Philadelphia Phillies just threw a wrench in it.
Yeah, I read that too. It's crazy stuff, and nobody knows because again, we've never been here before. Are we overreacting? Is this? Could we be doing this differently? And we don't know, but we're our primary focus, and you guys in Lincoln is the high school scene that we all love. And it was so. The only word I can think of back in March was just sad. I mean, when I went into the office that morning, that we were going to have the board meeting and probably knew that the decision was going to be to cancel the basketball tournament. What a sad feeling. Having gone through it as an AD at Lincoln and all the special memories and fun times with the people in Lincoln and Logan County who love basketball and love supporting the Railers and other teams in the area. Just knowing that everybody around the state who really loves March Madness, our version of March Madness, didn't get to go through that this year was just sad and heartbreaking. And I came home that evening after our board meeting, and our board made the right decision, no doubt, but a very tough decision. And knowing that the 1A, 2A schools were already in Peoria, they had already practiced on the court that afternoon, and they were ready to go to the team banquet and get ready for the games the next day. And my colleague Kurt Gibson, our boys basketball administrator, had to go into a coaches meeting and tell them, coaches, sorry, the tournament is over. And what a crushing thing for him to have to do. But just everybody around the state who loves high school basketball, it just was a sad, sad situation.
Yeah, and being in Lincoln, you don't even see that part. Everybody's focused on, the lives of our kids being flipped upside down, and you don't even take into account that, there were 4 other teams in Peoria that were, like you said, ready to play and didn't even have the opportunity. And, that's got to be just a kick in the gut right there.
A historical basketball season.
They were. Yeah, I think first time there.
Yeah.
And, just to be ripped away. But, it's affected thousands of lives over the state of Illinois, and hopefully we can get back to, like you said, Sam, some normalcy. Now, how many stages or phases is there? 5 stages? And we're shooting towards stage 4 now?
That's right. Yep. The Restore Illinois plan is 5 phases, and we're getting near the end of phase 3, hoping for phase 4 later in June. I think June 26th is the earliest we could do that. And looking, all signs are indicating that Illinois is one of the nation leaders in cases going down. So maybe we are doing things the right way, but it's certainly been testing our patience and frustration the last few weeks. But hopefully in phase 4 we get out, we can have gatherings of up to 50 people and have some summer basketball, have some summer soccer and 7-on-7 football. Again, taking lots of precautions to keep the kids safe. And I want to praise our coaches all around the state, too, who are doing things that they've never had to imagine doing before, taking kids' temperatures, taking attendance at practice, keeping kids in groups of 10. I mean, coaches are going way beyond normal expectations, but they're doing a really, really good job to help us do this the right way. And again, with the goal of having a school year and sports in the fall, but time will tell what happens there.
I talked to John Allison earlier this week, and he said what used to take 45 minutes now takes 2.5, 3 hours to run everybody through the weight room and clean it all the time, put them in groups of 10 or 9 people and move them around. I was going to ask you earlier too, what about the surrounding states? How much of an effect does that have if say Missouri or somebody says, hey, it's grown too much and we're out? Would that affect the state of Illinois?
No, I've wondered that too, Joe. I don't know if Missouri is a little looser than Illinois. They've been doing some things over there. In fact, our family went to the Lake of the Ozarks on vacation this week, and really life down at the lake was pretty nice, normal. Huh? You didn't really even notice. We didn't turn the TV on once the whole week. So that kind of kept everything out of our minds. But it was nice to get some getaway time down there and get back to normal for a while. But Indiana is loosening things up, and Wisconsin and Kentucky. Iowa has always played their high school baseball and softball seasons in the summer. So they just started playing their high school softball and baseball games this past Monday. And I'm just, again, praying that they have tremendous success so they can play here for the month of June and July and say, look, our numbers are holding steady or maybe even decreasing. So maybe that will help Illinois say, yeah, it's possible we can do this the right way and get back to fall sports in August and September.
Now, we've talked about this. I think Joe brought it up several weeks ago, and I don't know if it's just a rumor, somebody threw this out there, of maybe flip-flopping the sports. We're having baseball in the fall and then football in the spring. Is there any truth to that, looking into it, or is that something that is on the table?
Yeah, good question. We've heard that a lot too, and I won't say it's a rumor, because it was something we considered, but we didn't consider it very long. I'll be honest with you. On the surface, it sounds like, well, yeah, let's just flip-flop track and baseball and softball, put them in the fall. Take football, volleyball, and boys soccer, put them in the spring, and maybe it'll even out. Well, when you dig into the details just a little bit, it gets really tricky to do all that. As you guys have sports minds, you organize stuff before, you know what I'm talking about. And we realize it's really almost too late right now on June 20th. If we were going to flip-flop seasons, we should have done that a while ago. So I believe that concept is off the table at this point, and we're headed toward hopefully a regular fall season with boys soccer, football, volleyball, all the stuff we do normally in fall.
Well, that's good to hear, because I don't like it. Football's in the fall, and baseball's in the spring. I know there's a lot of concerns, I guess, about all the baseball games being canceled because of weather, and that was one of the issues, that maybe they would flip-flop it. But, it's been like this for, I don't know.
Forever.
How long, Joe? How long you been around?
Almost 20 years.
Yeah, so that's good to hear, Sam. Well, Sam, I'd like to thank you for taking some time. Family doing good? You got some young ones, probably not so young anymore.
No, we've got our twins are 16. They're going to be juniors. Now, Andy, our youngest, is 15. He'll get his license here in August, and he'll be a sophomore. So it affected our family this spring, just like a lot of families. Andy was looking forward to freshman baseball, and Adam was going to run track.
I was going to say, was one of them going to Italy?
Adam was he was supposed to go on a school trip to Europe over spring break that they had been planning on, and
my stepdaughter was going as well.
We paid everything for it, so we're hoping that they reschedule it. They plan to reschedule next year, but that's really the first thing that affected our family. Was he had this Europe trip planned, and we had a couple meetings with the teacher, and the teacher said, I don't know, looking at things over in Europe, it's looking little, but we're still planning on going. And then when President said no more international flights, Adam looked at me like, oh my gosh. And that was right around the time that the state tournament was canceled for basketball. And I said, hey, let's put this in perspective, Adam. You're a sophomore. You'll get this Europe trip rescheduled. It'll happen sometime. But these kids who don't get to finish their high school basketball career, and he said, Dad, you've said enough. I totally understand. that basketball tournament sadly wasn't rescheduled and will never be. So those kids won't get that. But he'll get to take his Europe trip eventually. And again, we're all hoping for better days ahead. I know it's coming. We all know it's coming. But the hard part is being patient and flexible to make it all happen.
Yeah, that's and we haven't even mentioned all the other stuff that it's affected, like you said, the
graduations,
the trips, graduations, prom, and just
college kids.
Yeah, just the whole
their senior years.
Just the whole experience of being a senior, being the big dog in the hallway, and a lot of that stuff, well, all of it was ripped away. But I guess it is what it is. I guess it just makes them stronger, and when they look back at this, 2020 was a crap year, and they made it through it. And
the year of vision,
the year of
2020,
the year of TP. But Sam, thanks for calling in. We appreciate talking to you. We did have one listener say that you're way too smart for this show, and this guy well. And J-Mac, he listens every Saturday, and
making us look bad,
yeah.
Sam.
J-Mac's a legend. I like it.
Yeah, he's a legend, all right. But Sam, thanks. Hope you guys stay safe, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yeah, pleasure talking to you guys. Keep up the good work,
Sam,
in Lincoln. We'll see you soon.
You have a good Father's Day. You got steaks laying around in the fridge?
We'll find something, Joe. I promise. I found a smoker that I like to use in the garage, and I kind of, when you stay home for all those times and you can't go out to eat, you got to find some new ways of cooking. So I kind of stumbled upon that. It's been kind of nice.
All right. Well, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, same to you guys. Take care.
All right. It's Sam Knox with IHSA.
He's kind of a big deal.
He is a big deal. We saw Sam in Peoria. Was it East Peoria? The state junior high state tournament. He was one of the officials out there. So we got to see Sam back in, was it February? February, yeah. So he just does it all. And I know he's really involved with the wrestling. And we never even talked about basketball moving to Champaign.
Yeah.
Man, see, you hang up and then you have more questions.
Almost would have been good to have like an agenda to go over.
Well,
prior to the show,
it would have been nice. But
only if.
I don't know why. Lloyd didn't put one together.
Yeah, Lloyd.
I mean, but we didn't even mention the boys basketball state tournament moving from Peoria to Champaign, back to Champaign. It's got me wondering how. Peoria, they have the big exhibition hall with the experience. Is that just something that they're going to do away with, or
are they going to move it into the
U of I? Do they have the facility? I know they have the facilities.
How far you got to walk to get to it? Yeah,
it's not convenient, I guess.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is that I'm
Sam
old.
Back.
I'm old.
Get him back on the phone.
But the state tournament at Champaign was awesome.
Yeah.
And then when it moved, I didn't like it.
Well,
but then once it got there, it was like, wow, this is better.
Yeah.
And now going back to it, I don't know. I mean, that's a great place.
Now, it used to be back in the day, boys and girls was at Champaign. They're going to keep girls at Redbird Arena, and they're just moving the boys right now. So
yeah.
Redbird Arena's nice.
It's nice facilities. But
the crowds, have dwindled, so they're going to be swallowed up in that U of I place.
Yeah.
That's it's so big, but I don't know. It'll be it'll be a little different.
Maybe after this whole COVID thing, maybe the crowds. Well, who knows?
Now, do you think that I'm just throwing this out there? Do you think that helps Illinois with recruiting?
I would say
because you got some
one of the reasons they want it.
You got the Chicago boys coming down playing in State Farm Center, and that's just got to be oh man, these just to see the facilities and which have been updated. Yeah,
I'll
talk to him about it today.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll talk. Jeff will be at my house today, so we'll have a little discussion about that and.
Yeah, I bet it helps with recruiting.
Yeah.
You going to feed him today?
I am.
All of them?
I'll feed them all.
What are you going to feed him? Macaroni and cheese?
Probably just bread and water. They can drink the pool water. I might throw them some bread like a duck, But no, I think we're going to have some hamburger and brats and all kinds of stuff. But we're going to take a commercial break because we need to get back and do Who's on the Phone the #1 sports game show in Logan County on Saturday mornings at 9:20.
Still ranked #1, isn't it?
Yeah.
The rankings don't come out
All
till
right,
Monday.
let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll have Who's on the Phone here on the Cheap Seats on WLCN 96.3 FM.
Bring your indoor living outdoors with beautiful Ashley brand outdoor patio furniture at Jake's Furnishings on Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. You'll love the all-new collection of Ashley Outdoors, featuring gorgeous patio sets priced right, including swivel and reclining chairs, shade loungers, and fire pits. For cool summer nights, warm up with patio heaters while you entertain friends at your unique outdoor bar, complete with bar stools and cantilever umbrella. Stop into Jake's Furnishings now for great prices on the full line of Ashley Outdoor Collection and browse the showroom for incredible indoor savings as well. From fine makers like Stacy, Lane, Ashley, and Lang, just to name a few. Jake's Furnishings, your new home for beautiful outdoor furniture. Located at 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. View everything at jakesfurnishings.com, phone 735-1212, and like Jake's on Facebook. Jake's Furnishings, make it your own.
This is Attorney Jim Grimaldi. Have you been arrested for DUI? A DUI is a serious offense with potentially severe consequences, which may include jail time, high fines, lengthy periods of probation, even suspension or revocation of your driver's license. The laws regarding DUI are very complex and continually changing every day. You need an attorney with knowledge and experience in handling DUI cases, whether or not this is your first offense. I have vast experience in the area of DUI law. As a former chief DUI prosecutor for Sangamon County, I prosecuted thousands of DUIs and was exposed to every possible defense strategy. Call me and let me put my experience to work for you.
Call Grimaldi Law Office now at 217-651-8089. That's 217-651-8089, or visit GrimaldiLawOffice.com. Newly remodeled and completely updated, the Christian Village is Lincoln's only faith-based retirement community and is the area's leader for independent, assisted, and skilled senior living and healthcare services. The Christian Village at 1507 7th Street offers a wide array of living options for older adults, such as independent living, rehabilitation, skilled, and tour of the campus. Please phone 217-732-2189. The Christian Village in Lincoln, a community of compassion.
Come join the Growl family. It's Growl right now. Come join the Growl family. It's Growl right now.
Hello, Lincoln and Logan County. This is Chris Grau, Grau Chevrolet Buick Cadillac. If you're in the market for a new used car or truck and don't see what you're looking for, please give us a call. We'll gladly let you know what we have coming in, and we'll search for the perfect vehicle for you. Incentives and rebates are changing all the time, and now is a great time to purchase a new or used car or truck. Call us at Grau Chevrolet Buick Cadillac at 217-735-4444. Visit us on the internet at www.growinc.com, or stop by and see us the old-fashioned way at 1905 North Kickapoo Street in Lincoln.
Join the Growl family. It's Growl right now.
Check out the full line of Grasshopper and Husqvarna lawn equipment with great summer specials on all mowers and trimmers at Four Corners Lube, including financing, which is available. Get into Four Corners Lube, located at 1101 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln now for the best service possible. Open Monday through Saturday. Phone 217-735-2761. Four Corners Lube, home of the full-service in and out oil change.
Joe Ryan here again. If I had a crystal ball and could tell you exactly when to purchase your life insurance, would you do it? Or would you wait around just to see if I am correct? Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but I will tell you that now is the time. And with a Country Financial ROP Rider, you will receive a tax-free return of your premium at the end of the term. Call me, Joe Ryan, and ask about the ROP Rider, 735-4385.
If you're searching for first-rate outpatient therapy with flexible scheduling or short-term rehabilitation or long-term care, then look no further than the new St. Clair's Rehab and Senior Care in Lincoln. Your trusted provider for over 45 years is proud to introduce their brand new building, including a state-of-the-art gym and short-term therapy wing. You'll also love their new cafe, specialty care rooms, private suites, modern-day features, and so much more. When you need successful therapy to get back home or compassionate long-term care, you need the new St. Clair's Rehab and Senior Care in Lincoln. Call 217-870-1097 to schedule your tour today.
This is Mickey Morandini, and you're listening to Cheap Seats with Joe, Jake, and Shabadoo on 96.3 FM WLCN.
Welcome back to the Cheap Seats, and it is time for Who's on the Phone, and
chance to win money.
Chance to win $25 and a Cheap Seats fitted baseball cap. Woo! We're going to throw that in today.
We are?
We're going to up the ante.
I might want that.
What would you call this? An experiment?
It's
a prototype.
Just a prototype. There you go.
What's on the back?
It just says WLCN.
I think that's just some lint, maybe. Or
maybe lint.
No, all right.
It's might be slime.
We like it.
Very nice.
Yeah, just
Scotty tried to
prototype. We're just going to throw it out there.
Scotty does know.
Some lucky winner's going to be able to walk around with that thing on their head.
There they go.
Yeah.
So 871-4930, the number to call if you know the identity of our mystery guest or if you would like to ask a yes/no question of our mystery guest. Please turn down your radio before you call, and we do have the $25 jackpot on the line. So, mystery guest, are you there? Can you say hello to our illustrious panel?
Hello.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So, do you know who it is by now?
Well, it's a dude.
We
All right.
well,
or maybe it's a voice changer.
Or maybe, yeah.
All right. So here's your clue.
Yeah. Clue my butt.
When surprised, Doc Brown exclaimed this to Marty McFly, and it's no doubt been said to our mystery guest. Our guest isn't a zookeeper, but has spent time with beavers, and 7 times has been recognized as the best. Use your magic wand to name this former railer, sort of Saluki and cougar, who had knacks for scoring and giving an assist. And a little-known fact, our guest was once a fashion influencer of sorts when a guest's help, a local reporter, did enlist.
I don't even know why you bother reading that crap, because
I like it. Boy, there's a lot going on there.
You think, oh yeah, I know who it is, and nope, that's not who I think it is.
Mystery guest, that all the information in that clue was accurate, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so see, I'm not throwing you off the track. Maybe you got to put the pieces together and connect the dots.
Read it one more.
So now do we ask a few questions and then go ahead? I'll read it again.
You want it again? All right.
Yeah.
When surprised, Doc Brown exclaimed this to Marty McFly, and it's no doubt been said to our mystery guest. Our guest isn't a zookeeper, but has spent time with beavers, and 7 times has been recognized as the best. Use your magic wand to name this former railer, sort of Saluki and cougar, who had knacks for scoring and giving an assist. And a little-known fact, our guest was once a fashion influencer of sorts when our guest's help, a local reporter, did enlist. 871-4930 if you know who Mr. Guest is.
I mean, we suck at this game.
If you have any idea who it is, call now.
There's some, I'll give you, a former railer, knack for scoring and an assist. I heard something about a Saluki, sort of, so that might point you.
A beaver. What did Doc Brown say to Marty McFly?
When he was surprised.
He said a whole bunch of things to him.
I think there was one phrase in
Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Oh, Great Scott. Is that what he said? Huh. All right, well, if only you had 10 yes or no questions. And actually, gentlemen, I'll throw you a bone here. Mystery guest, do you know anything about film editing?
I can't even say it on here.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So we have our
So
first yes.
there you go.
Yeah.
Now there's a twist that went the wrong way.
Now
for us.
I know who it is.
We were hoping for him to say no, so we could
All
eliminate.
right.
Thankfully, he
All right,
said
Mr.
yes.
Caller. Okay, this is. I'm always going to lead out with this too because it somewhat narrows it down. Have you ever been on the Cheap Seats radio sports show?
Yes, I believe so.
That's not
Such a memorable moment that you can't
Well,
remember.
brimming with confidence in that answer.
I guess we leave a forever impression on our. Yes.
Probably not a good one.
Maybe early days, maybe not recently.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. So not with us.
Did you play basketball for Lincoln High School?
Yes.
All right.
Look at us, 2 for 2.
We're going to call you Butter because you are on a roll.
You know, he's funny. You should work for Alexa.
Yeah.
Or a radio station.
It's a pretty umbrella there, Lloyd.
Thank
It's
you.
got Corona on it.
Yeah,
Got
I had
Corona
it.
with all that Phillies on it. Let's
So
go
a
here.
former Railer basketball
Former
player.
Railer.
Yeah.
SIU. A Saluki. Played.
Sort of.
I don't know if it'd be a Saluki. There's not a lot of Railers.
Okay, caller, have you changed your name?
No.
Okay.
What do you mean change
That was
your
a
name?
question from Jim.
Jim.
Why would Jim
I just
ask
went
that
with it.
question?
Changed your name?
Do you?
Do you really?
So we're looking.
Well, apparently not.
A former Railer basketball player, it sounds like.
That did not change his name. All
And
right.
he knows about film editing.
Oh,
Has maybe been on the show before.
not legally, Jim says.
Oh, okay. We have an amended question for you, mystery guest. Have you changed your name but not legally changed it? Are you? Let me rephrase it. Are you known by multiple names?
Well,
Yes.
Oh, okay. Jim just didn't word it right. But I think he knows who it is.
He might have an idea.
Look at it. He's got that look.
He's got the look.
thinks he does.
Like Roxette.
Well, Jim, get a mic. Ask another question. I mean, you're the
again,
producer.
I don't think any listeners know they haven't called.
871-4930.
I tell you what, you're going to
25
want
beans
to. You're
and
going
a
to want
hat.
to win this sweet hat.
25 beans and
And a hat.
first edition Cheap Seats
Yeah.
hat, suitable for framing or
First
wearing.
edition might be the last edition.
If it takes as long as it takes to get these things made, we're going to give away one a year.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you're right. Okay,
we have a former-
back to on what task in hand here, boys.
I'm thinking. Caller, would you have played in the 1981 Lincoln Quincy game?
No.
That's pretty specific. Earlier?
Oh, so like
So we're getting a
70?
time frame here. We're getting a time frame. How many questions is that for?
That's 4, I believe.
Well, I'm out. I don't know who played before 1996.
Would you have relation in the Hartsburg-Emden area?
Yes.
Joe Ryan drawing a bead.
Joe, well, he should. He
You can't
know
say it like
everybody.
that.
What?
I don't know a name yet. I'm just working on it.
You know.
He knows everybody.
You
and
should know. You've
plus he's
lived here
ancient.
for 110 years.
How many questions are we on?
So that was 5, I believe.
That was
So
5.
It's a former Railer basketball player, has relation in the Hartsburg-Emden area, known by multiple names.
Okay, I'm trying to relate the beaver thing here.
Trying to help our listeners. What's he saying? Oh. Have you done any broadcasting?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, look
okay,
at us.
maybe I
We're
do.
like
Look at
6
that.
for 6, and we still don't have a name.
Jim Ash showing the definition of what's shooting in a barrel.
Jim, no, is it on his computer?
Jim knows he's
No,
not.
I-
He's just like, you guys don't know squat.
And we're not going to disagree.
Listeners, if you have an idea, 871-4930, the number to call. 25 beans on the line, plus the limited edition Cheap Seats hat.
Hurry before the cops get here because our last $25 check bounced.
Okay, well,
That's so true.
I know who it is.
Because you cheated.
No, somebody text me.
Well, then why don't they call in?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to call in. J-Mac, you want to win a sweet hat, you need to call in.
Come on, J-Mac. If you think you know, call in.
Yeah, if you know
Stand
the
up for
identity,
yourself.
G-Mac would love this hat.
I'll tell you what, J-Mac, if you're not calling in, I'm giving out your phone number. We're going to have people order tickets.
871-4930, the number to call. If you know the identity of our mystery guest, or if you have a question to help pin down their identity. We know it's a former Railer basketball player. We know this individual who's done broadcasting, has relatives in the Hertzberg-Emden area. And do we have a caller? We do have a caller on the line.
Thank God.
So, caller, if you're there, if your radio is turned up, if you can turn it down.
Ask the mystery guest if he was a Decatur sports announcer.
All right, mystery guest, could you hear that question? Were you a Decatur?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And yes, I was.
Bus boom.
Oh, we have an answer.
We got an answer.
I'm sorry, what was your guess there, caller?
Scott Bus boom.
Scott Busboom?
Is that not it?
Not sure that's right.
Not exactly.
We'll give you.
I'll say his last name.
We'll give you half
Busboom.
Yeah,
We'll give you
J-Mac,
half credit for that answer. So
Is that J-Mac?
$12.50.
Yeah, it's J-Mac.
J-Mac.
You get $12.50. You get $12.50 and half a hat.
Half the hat.
No, I want the full hat. Keep the money. I've got a job.
You can't drink before you call this show, though.
Okay.
Did you say Busboom?
I woke up 19 minutes ago.
all right, so we're circling the identity
we
of
got
our mystery
Scott,
guest.
but the last name, is it close? It's not even close.
Let's just say this. Hey, caller,
Not necessarily close.
caller, if we were to go to McDonald's and order some food.
Mystery guest, this is a question for you.
Mr. Guest, if we were to go to McDonald's and order some food, would part of your name be in something we could order?
Yes, along with the fries.
Scott McMuffin.
So hey, somebody run over and get a picture of that board. We can go through stuff.
All right, so we are circling the identity. Fans are going wild as they drive by.
Look,
I'm trying to think of a McDonald's
since question
menu now.
So
I'm trying to help somebody win $25.
Joe Ryan, ever the
It's on
generous
the-
one,
it's
charitable one.
Somebody call. He's still on the phone.
Careful there,
Hey, is
caller. You
J-Mac
are
still
on
on
the air.
phone? Because we have other callers that are trying to get
J-Mac
through.
up.
All right, now he's gone. That's probably a good thing. We value our FCC license.
What did he say? Busboom.
Now I'm trying to think if there's something related on the menu that
871-4930 is the number to call. If you have the identity of our mystery caller, we had a half credit answer for Scott Busboom. And Joe Ryan established that our mystery guest's name, part of his name, at least the way it sounds, might be an item from the menu of McDonald's.
Caller, is your
starts with a B.
mystery guest is your picture in the trophy case at Lincoln High School?
No.
Gosh, I thought it was.
I wish it was.
I'll tell you what.
We can make
send
that
us
happen.
a 5x7 and we'll get it in there. We know the athletic director.
And J-Mac may not normally contribute much to this show, but he did establish this as a former Decatur sports broadcaster.
Yeah, and Channel 17. Well, that doesn't help me any.
17 is located between 16 and 18 on your dial.
Yeah, well, now I know who it is.
Rolls over next week.
All right,
Nobody
yeah,
gets
if we
it.
don't,
Yeah,
if we
but
don't have,
We're not giving
don't
J-Mac
have a
12.
winner.
The money doubles, the hat does not.
One hat,
Oh.
One hat, one
prize goes to
prototype.
$50.
Well,
Let's see, what time is it?
are we there? We're gonna have to give up.
43.
Well,
Do you not know who it is? You know who it is.
I think
knows
Joe
who it is.
knows
Yeah,
who
but
it is.
I'm trying to help
Our
somebody
listeners-
win. I keep asking more questions. I thought his picture's in the trophy case.
I'm sorry?
No, I was between the 30-1 teams.
Between.
He is like He's like
17.
The filling in an
16
Oreo
and 18.
of 30-and-1 railer teams.
That's not.
No.
Boy, we thought.
No.
You should know us like that. You're the regular announcer.
Yeah.
For
you're
2
the
years.
play-by-play guy. Well,
I'm saying that you need to study your
we
stuff.
know you do your
I'll tell you
homework
what,
before the broadcast.
Where's
where's what's his name?
Yeah.
The guy that gives us all the information that filled in for me. Jay Harden. We need him.
Jay Harden?
I guarantee he knows.
Jeff Benjamin would know. Why is he not
Jeff
listening?
Benjamin would know. I saw Jeff Benjamin the other day.
You should have told him to call today.
Yeah.
871-4930, the number to call.
I say, give him
Still looking for the identity of our mystery guest.
Give him a minute to call in. Try to win.
Yeah, we'll put you on the clock here 60 seconds, and then we will reveal the identity of our mystery guest.
I'm absolutely no help on
I'm
this.
sure
My
this
fault.
person has
I'm with you,
a
Jakey.
lot to talk about.
Yeah, we want
Yeah.
I might be the only starter from Lincoln that is not pictured in either the 70 team photo or the 73 team photo.
Oh.
Holy cow.
So that gives you a time
Urban
frame
Cowboy
there.
going. You know, we got a caller.
Oh, we
Here
do
go.
have a caller. So
got a
that
caller.
may have swung the pendulum. So, caller, good morning. Do you know the identity of our mystery guest?
I know who it is, but I can't guess because I've already won once.
Well, I guess this one's over.
Well, we have a bit of a drought here. So, if you would like to go ahead and take a guess, I mean, we could still award the hat, couldn't we?
Sure, get the hat away. There we go.
Yeah, so we'll get you a very fashionable Cheap Seats hat if you can tell us who is our mystery guest.
There's another caller. Shut up. Well, I heard beeps.
You there?
Okay, well.
We lost.
Hello?
Hello?
All right.
Got another caller.
Oh, we got
mystery
another
guest,
caller.
you're still there. We have
We
another
lost Betty
caller.
B.
Caller, good morning. Do you have a guess as to the identity of our mystery guest?
I'll try it. Scott Betzelberger.
Scott?
Yes!
Mr. Guest, are you
Betzelberger.
Scott Betzelberger indeed? So, who do we have here on the line who guessed the identity?
Kevin Meager.
Kevin
Meager.
Meager.
All right,
Did you
well.
know it, or did you have to search around for it on the internet?
Damn it, Joe. Why you got to call me out like that?
And how does J-Mac come up with Bus Boom?
Bus Boom. We might need to have
Maybe that's
J-Mac
how-
back on.
Maybe that's how he pronounces Betzelberger.
I thought I gave it away with the McDonald's.
No, I mean, I'm thinking like Big Mac, quarter pounder, nothing.
Yeah, I was thinking like McFlurry and
Yeah. I always teased about getting a Betzelberger and an order of fries when I was
All right, so we do have a winner. Kevin Meager wins a $25 cash and a sweet Cheap Seats hat.
Congrats.
So, stay on the line with Jim, and he'll get your information so we can get your prizes to you.
And we're
How's
gonna
it going, gentlemen?
All right, you too, buddy.
and we're gonna talk to Mr. Betzelberger.
Yeah, Mr. Betzelberger, good morning, and thanks for participating in this. I don't even know what you call this.
How's your picture not up there?
It was fun. First of all, I should clarify. My legal name. I took my middle name from my air name, Scott Lynn. So people on TV would know me as Scott Lynn, and obviously everybody in Central Illinois probably would remember Betzelberger better than Scott Lynn.
Yeah, I would have got it if I'd done that.
You wouldn't have got anything.
Lincoln Community High School graduate, and now this is why I don't know him. 1972.
You should be studying that.
Yeah, you should have known that.
I wasn't even born yet.
You're a basketball god.
72, I'll tell you one thing, guys, and I don't know if anybody out there will know the answer to this, and it's a question I've had in my mind. That 71-72 team, which started out 17-0 and was ranked second in the state behind Thornridge, the defending state champion and then the eventual state champion in 72. They won back-to-back. We were the only team, I think, in Lincoln High School history to never lose a game away from Anderson Gym, from the home court. We only lost 3 times, all 3 times on our home floor, including the regional final to Springfield Southeast. So 24-3, undefeated on the road. I do wonder, is any other Lincoln team gone undefeated on the road? Usually the season ends, at a sectional or regional. I just can't imagine another team
might be some
Lincoln's
good,
history that would have gone undefeated at home or away from home.
We'd have to ask our information guy, Jay Harden. He's got stats that you wouldn't believe, and I'm sure he knows the answer. But yeah, you played with some high-profile names here, as in Seymour Reed, Norman Cook, and you didn't get your due diligence. You're kind of
it's funny. You talked about the pictures at the gym and the trophy case. Yeah, the 70 team and the 73 teams both have their photos. I mentioned I was the only one not in one of those photos that was a starter, because I think John Andrews, who was 1 year ahead of me in 71, he was a sophomore on that 70 team, and I think his photo is in there. So
yep, his photo is in there.
Yeah, and so I think that I might be the only guy who certainly played. I was a sophomore on Seymour's team, never got into a varsity game, but did practice with those guys occasionally. And but you're right. Norm, the 72 team, I was the only senior starter, and of course the next year, Norm Cook, Tim Bushel, Mike Swingle, and Mike Schneider, joined by Dale Richard as the starter, moves in, and they go to the quarterfinals and lose to Lockport Central in Champaign.
Now this one you're going to have to really think about. Do you ever really remember Swingle passing the ball to someone?
Never.
That's what I thought.
Never. But you know what? He was a great shooter, and it was I played forward my junior year and made second team All Big 12. And averaged about 13 points a game. And the next year, Duncan Reed moved me to guard, and I helped Schneider, and I basically brought the ball up. I could pass over the smaller defenders, and not a bad ball handler. I could throw behind my back and between my legs and all that stuff, which was pretty unusual for a 6'6" guy in that era.
Yeah, no doubt.
You guys were loaded. Those,
6'6", that's a center.
Yeah, we had Bushel was 6'6", I was 6'6", and Cook was 6'8", listed sometimes as 6'9". Duncan always liked to add an inch to the program, So.
Intimidation factor.
Yeah.
But
Swingle,
great athletes. That team's loaded with great athletes.
And
it's funny. That team, since it was between those 30-1 teams, I don't think it got to do. We were the Big 12 champs, untied. We were the Big 12 champs. We won the Washington and Edwardsville tournaments, the holiday tournaments, Thanksgiving and Christmas. But that team kind of gets lost when you think about what they did on the bookends of that. Those 30-1 teams, they were awesome. They're in the State Hall of Fame as a result.
Well, we got to do something about getting your picture in that thing. We're going to work on that.
We have a lot of influence. So.
Photoshop me or something,
Well, we'll get a key to that glass door and slide it open and stick it in there. Nobody will ever know.
All right. So.
Now, you got quite the resume here, and we were trying to put Lloyd's clues together, and we don't think outside the box. We're kind of centrally located, and when he says Beavers, I'm like, oh, it's got to be Blackburn. No, we're talking West Coast Beavers, up at Oregon State.
Right.
You spent some time up. Are you still living in that area?
No, I actually have retired in 2013. I got laid off after 34 years in the Portland area working radio and TV. I got laid off from my radio station and moved to the Tampa Bay area. We live we're right on the Gulf of Mexico, near Indian Rocks Beach and just south of Clearwater Beach. So it's
awesome.
It's a nice place when the weather's not hot and muggy.
Do you ever go to the Frog Pond for breakfast?
I have not. No. I'm not going anywhere now. I'll tell you that. I'm saying that I'm a cancer survivor, and of the age group, I'm 66 now. So I do not. My wife and I are both very, very cautious, wearing a mask and doing all the things that we're supposed to do per the CDC guidelines. But again, to the Beavers, to the point about the Beavers, yes, I covered Oregon State. I was their TV play-by-play guy for a number of years, about a decade. I worked a lot of games for Fox Sports Northwest and Comcast Sports Northwest. But, it's funny. I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk about the state tournament returning to Champaign. And, guys, that was my dream. Operations and disappointments is that 72 team did not get there. I wanted to play there so bad. And the other thing was I grew up watching those games on TV. In black and white back in the day, in the 60s, and I wanted to play there and be on TV, and we just didn't get there. But one of the things I always wanted to do, in fact, I called the IHSA a couple of times to see if I could fly back and call their games on TV, but they had somebody else doing it. But I did call Oregon State High School basketball and football, boys and girls basketball and football championships for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. I'm not sure exactly how many, but that was kind of a fulfillment of a dream to call the state high school championships, because I knew what it meant to those kids to be playing in that game.
Now, were you supposed to make a trip up here earlier in the year? And I think that all this happened and it was canceled, right?
Yeah, I was scheduled to speak at the Farm Bureau Scholarship Awards breakfast in March, and literally 4 or 5 days before I was scheduled I had a plane flight. I was on my way to Springfield. I was going to stay with my cousin who lives in Springfield, and they canceled that deal because the governor said no groups of more than, I forget if it was 10 or 50 at that time, but the breakfast was going to be 300 or so, I guess. So it canceled. I'm supposed to be the guest speaker next March if all things are, things are better by then.
Well, I tell you what, if we got basketball in the area in March, you're more than welcome to broadcast with us.
Well, I would love that. In fact, I was talking to Lloyd about that, saying, hey, if I can get up there, can I sit in? And I thought maybe it would be so if Lincoln was there in the championships, I would have to, beg, borrow, or do something to get a ticket to that.
I'm pretty sure they would prefer listening to you than me. So, but
Scott, we, as much as we know it would heighten your career to hang out in a broadcast with us, we've got a picture on our YouTube feed now of you with a pretty important person behind your shoulder while you're broadcasting a game. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
I will. That was Barack Obama. The first family was seated directly behind me. What happened was, after I got laid off in August of 2013, I basically started filling in, calling play-by-play for anybody who needed it, just as a freelancer. And Oregon State, at that point, had a football conflict, so their regular play-by-play guy went to do the football game. I got to call the men's basketball game at Maryland. So I got on a plane, flew to Maryland, and while there, got to visit the White House. And the reason for that was Craig Robinson, Michelle Obama's brother, was the head coach at Oregon State. And so he arranged, as he had done every year that he was the coach there, he arranged to have a game in the area so that the whole team would be there. And then the entourage, the whole group, would get to go through the White House. So I got to go into the White House on Saturday afternoon, shake hands with the president and first lady, and saw the girls in the Oval Office, had a picture taken with that. Then the next night was the game, and the first family came, sat right behind me, and it was pretty amazing. I shook his hand again as he was exiting after the Oregon State had upset Maryland, and it was, that was just an amazing thing. But even more amazing was while I was on that trip, the Portland Trailblazers NBA team called me. Their play-by-play guy had a medical issue, couldn't fly. They wanted me to call some games on the East Coast, so I flew from the D.C. area up to New York and called the very next night, called a game against with the Blazers taking on the Nets in Brooklyn, and then flew on the team plane to Milwaukee to end the road trip. And then that kind of led to a situation where in 2017 and 18, again, the play-by-play guy had a medical issue. I ended up calling 35 games for them that year, including the playoffs on their radio network. So some of the best times times of my career came after I got laid off of my full-time job.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
you never know
much.
what's going to happen.
Doesn't sound much like a layoff. It sounds like you were more busy. But how do you prepare for that? Because if it's just on the whim, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you follow the Trailblazers, that closely to know who the players are, and then the other team. A lot of these guys are traveling with them and know them. How do you prepare to call a good game?
Well, first of all, I was still living in Portland in 2013, so when they called, I had been going to games and I knew the players, so that was not an issue for those 2 games I called in 2013. However, I had moved to the Tampa Bay area in the summer of 2014, so when they called 3 years later, honestly, I had quit watching the NBA. I didn't know who was on hardly any team, other than maybe a star or two. And so when they called me, out of the blue, 4 days before the first game of the regular season, all the preseason games had been called. I couldn't even go do my homework by looking at NBA TV or anything. I had nowhere to look to find out, other than the internet, who was on these teams. But they called me and they said, "Hey, we have this issue," and I explained it. And they said, "Are you interested and available?" I said, "Yes," and yes. But I had literally, basically, 3 days before I had to get on a plane and fly to Phoenix to call the first game of the regular season. I said, "Well, who's on the Blazer team? I haven't even been watching." Oh, and they said, "Oh, it's the same guys when you were here." There were 3 players out of the 15-man roster. Only the 3 stars were there when I was there. So I had to learn the Trailblazers as well as every team. And the thing is, when there are back-to-back games, what happens is you call the game, you get on the team bus, takes you right out to the airport, you get on the team plane, you fly to the next city, and it was while I was on the plane to the next city that I would get my press releases out and start memorizing names and numbers of the next team that I was going to be calling the next night. It was amazing. It was the most work and pressure I've ever had in any job, and it was also the most fun.
Yeah,
and what a lifestyle those guys have.
Now, does that include the pressure of your former job as a fashion influencer that was mentioned in that clue?
Oh, yeah, we better explain that. Is Lloyd able to talk, or is he?
Yeah, this is me. So,
this is Lloyd.
Oh, it is. Well, okay.
So, what would the year have been, Scott? About 1980, early 80s?
That would have been, okay, I'll tell you what, it would have been the late 70s or early 1980, because I was in Tampa. I was working in Tampa. I left WAND in Decatur, Channel 17, and came to Tampa, St. Pete, to work at the local ABC affiliates here. And it was during that time, and I was here 2.5 years before I headed out to Portland. And at that point, well, you pick it up, Lloyd.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
my mother, Pat Kirby, worked at the Lincoln Courier from the time I was in kindergarten through my sophomore year of college, and she was a reporter there and had the occasion to speak with a lady named Helen Betzelberger, and who happens to be Scott's mom. And they got to talking, and my mom mentioned to Scott's mom, "Hey, my son is a Tampa Bay fan. Scott's down in that area now. Do you think he might be able to, send some any gear?" This is pre-internet, hopping online and ordering your favorite gear. So even though he did not know me at that time, Scott Betzelberger, out of the goodness of his heart, I guess he went to the team store, whatever it was at that time, and sent back a Tampa Bay hat, Tampa Bay shirt, Tampa Bay keychain. So trying to get it on our YouTube feed now, we have a rarely seen photo of my sophomore year of high school. The school portrait where I wore the Tampa Bay shirt that was gifted to me by Scott Betzelberger.
Well, if you think I'm a very generous guy, let me just assure you that I got it free from the team itself.
Well, that's better yet.
Right in here, I'm going to tell you that.
I went to the PR guy and said, "Hey, can you help me out? I've got a friend in my hometown who's a Bucks fan, and this is what he brought me." So I just put everything in a box and I did ship it to you. But
they were probably so bad back then.
Yeah, they're giving that stuff away.
They were bad when I moved here in '78. But by 1979, they played in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. Got beat 9-0. They were one win away from the Super Bowl. Doug Williams was the quarterback.
Doug Williams,
the running back. and Leroy and Dewey Selman were two of the defensive stalwarts. So, you're talking about some very talented players, and that was a very fun team to cover.
They were one of the first teams I remember that the fans had the bags over their head, wasn't it? That's the first time I think I'd seen it on TV.
I remember the Saints that way, but
Saints had it too,
And that was the John McKay era, who had some memorable quotes about how do you feel about our team, our offense's execution? He said, I think it's a good idea.
How do you feel about our team's execution? He said, I'm in favor of it.
He'd go to jail for that now.
Yeah, you sure would.
And John McKay was a beauty. We knew each other, sort of. But one of the things, I'd like to tell you one thing that was really cool. When I got the job in Portland, John McKay called my radio station, called my office, and said, I want to see you. Actually, his secretary did. John wants to see you in the office. So I headed over to the Bucks, one Buck Place, their team facility. He called me in the office to say, I want you to know I watched you every Sunday night after our games. You were very fair. You're very good. Just wanted to let you know. And I thought, man, he did not have to do that.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
That was a pretty cool moment in my career.
Well, we want to talk now about one of your highlights, because everybody always likes to talk about their greatest game they ever played. It says here you had a career high of 24 points against Mattoon, and then another time against Peoria Spalding. You had to feel it those nights, didn't you?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? The game against Mattoon, I had been sick with a cold or flu or something all week long. Barely got to play. I think I showed up at school only because you had to be in school to play that night.
It wasn't the COVID, was it?
No, it was long before COVID. But I was literally, I think I had a fever, and I was playing out of my mind. And in fact, one of my shots, I have it on film, because back then we shot in film, and the early days of videotape, a reel-to-reel videotape.
Reel-to-reel.
But it was a scoop shot from about 18 feet. I did a step-through move from the right wing and launched an underhanded scoop shot from about 18. And honest to God, Duncan Reed went, no! Yes! Because it went right in and twisted. and so that's one of my great memories. So I'm glad you mentioned that one. And that game against Peoria Spalding was in the Washington tournament. And I made 18 out of 20 free throws in that game to set the school record, which I still share that record of 18 made free throws.
Brackney had 18 or something, didn't he?
Brackney had 18 out of, I think, 24, and somebody else had 18 out of 22. I think was it Brian Cook, maybe? I can't remember. But bottom line is, I still think I have the record since I was first, and my percentage was the best, 18 out of 20.
We'll go with that.
And that's Brian Brackney, not the kid. So you're going back a long way.
Yeah.
Not Big Ben. Brian.
Yeah, it was the 71-72 season, and I did set the school assist record that year by throwing the ball. All I did was lob it into Cook and let him score. I mean, basically, that's how I set the school assist record. And secondly, they'd only kept assists, I think, 2 or 3 seasons. So it's not like that was a long-standing record that I broke.
Well, we got to do something about getting your picture in that trophy case.
Absolutely.
We're going to work on that. We'll get that done.
Maybe the Hall of Fame.
We'll have a ceremony, too.
Okay.
We'll have a ceremony in a basketball game
when you're
next
back
year.
in March, we'll have a big old ceremony.
Those don't go over real well at our school for some reason.
Yeah.
Hey, this was a great guest today, Lloyd. Nice job. Yeah. You're good.
Well, we had fun, reminiscing, Lloyd and I, about the old days. And I said, the other thing I do want to mention, I've written a couple books. One was very successful, really. For a while, I was the top sports book on Amazon. It was a very short time. It was right after I did an interview on WGN TV as the author of the day up there. But that was the Thornridge book. I wrote about that great Thornridge team, went back and talked to all those players. And so Thornridge, perfect season in black and white, early days of integration. I didn't even know that black and white issue was part of their story. But that was a very interesting book. Because we were the number 2 ranked team in the State, we always followed them. Scores from like the UPI wire service. The scores would be in the Courier the next morning, the next afternoon. That's the only way we knew anything about these teams. And so I followed Thornridge, and I kept thinking, my God, they beat another team by 45. They must really be good. And, oh my God, they won by 55 last night. So I always was kind of fascinated by that team. I used to think, I wonder whatever happened to those guys. And so I tracked them down thanks to the internet and was able to find almost every player on that team. I interviewed the Quincy players, the coaches, the broadcasters, anybody who had anything to do with Thornridge, and came up with this book that it really was pretty successful. It was self-published and self-promoted, but it did well. The second book I wrote, not so well, and I really thought it was going to go somewhere. Sports Idols, First Heroes of Our Heroes. And what it was, I interviewed about 150 stars and Hall of Famers about their very first childhood heroes. And it was everybody from Jerry West and Steph Curry to Ken Griffey Jr. and just a number of sports, men and women, about who their heroes were. Did they ever meet them? What it was like to meet them. The Sports Idols, despite having all these superstar names, just did not go. I was very surprised. So I still have lots of copies. If anybody wants to,
we'd like one sent to the radio.
ScottLynn.com. Scott, what are yours? Yeah. Speaking of that Thornridge team, though,
Scott Lynn PDX. If you wanted to connect with Twitter.
There you go. Speaking of that Thornridge team, didn't you have an encounter with Quinn Buckner after your playing days?
I did. He is an assistant. Senior vice president of the Indiana Pacers. He's been on their broadcasting. So there was a time where the Pacers were playing in Portland, and before the game, we had our pregame meal in the media center, and I sat directly across from Quinn. Sat down next to him, and I said, Buckner, Bonzik, Batts, Rose, Dunn. I named the starting five of that Thornridge team off the top of my head. He goes, "Ooh, you must be from Illinois." I said, "Oh yeah." I said I was the captain of the team that was ranked number 2 behind you down, from Lincoln. And he goes, and he looks at me. I said, we thought we had a chance to beat you because we matched up pretty well size wise, but we got upset in our own regional. But and then I was at the state championship game when you beat Quincy. You'd have kicked our ass. And he says to me, "Well, no, man, it looks to me like you could have played back in the day." I said, "Well, I was 6'6" back then, but I was only about 165 pounds." And he says, "Oh yeah, I'd have kicked your ass." And he would. He was a man among boys. And for the book, I interviewed Bobby Knight, John Wooden, who recruited him. So it was pretty cool to kind of relive my memories of high school basketball. And in that book, I also went week by week. I chronicled their entire season and also put in what Lincoln did each week and what the other top teams in the state did at the end of each chapter. So it was really fun. The second book, Sports Idols, was kind of cathartic because it kind of wrapped up my career. I was basically done. I wrote it after I moved here to the Tampa Bay area, and I had recorded all these interviews with these players and owners, not owners, but coaches and other people that I've always, one thing, it wasn't going to change. Who was your very first idol? That's never going to change. So I could write that book at any time. So I waited till I was totally retired, basically, and moved to the Tampa Bay area, and then wrote that book. But again, it's pretty cool. It kind of summarizes my whole broadcasting career because I wrote about how I met or knew each of these people, and again, it's everybody. I'm a big IndyCar fan, so I interviewed Mario Andretti, AJ Foyt, and Ray Halls, and all the Andrettis actually, the Unsers. All three, Bobby, Al Jr. So, I mean, it was a fun book to do for me, and it kind of was, as I say, cathartic because I was a little bummed when basically being a broadcaster and a sports guy my whole life, it was really hard to be out of work and /retired. So writing that book actually kind of allowed me to revisit the career and think, man, was I lucky? Was I ever lucky?
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff going on there. Yeah, congratulations. That's an excellent career. Very entertaining.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Very entertaining.
Quick 30-second answer. Is Bob Gibson a very competitive golfer?
Yes, very competitive. I played in 2 celebrity pro-ams where Gibson was playing, and he was in the group right behind me. And he was just like he was, he's intimidating. First of all, he was my boyhood idol. And secondly, when he was in the group right behind us, you know how you have an A group and a B group. I was in the A group, so I'd go off the tee off, he'd be yelling behind me, "Hurry up! Hurry up! Hit the ball!" So,
swing the club.
He was very competitive, very competitive. But he was a nice guy, but he was a tough guy. He was every bit what you'd expect.
Well, Scott, thanks for taking some time talking to us this morning. A lot of great stories and, reliving some old memories and things that we didn't know. And, sounds like you've had a pretty good career and, a lot of interesting stuff. And
yes, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And if you're back around in March, you got to stop by and say something.
I will.
You're on our buddy list from Channel 17 on our buddy list, and Gordon Voigt.
Is he? I thought he was on a different list after that whole fantasy basketball thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was moving in
you're right. Yeah, he moved down on the list. I forgot about that.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
I know.
All right, Scott.
No, I tell you what, I really appreciate it, and like I say, I don't think I was why I hesitated during the Q&A. I don't think I was on with you guys, but I've been on the station numerous times, several times.
Yeah.
So, you
would know if you've been on with us because you walk away like,
I'll remember now.
Yeah. How are these guys on radio?
No kidding there.
But I'll just throw in, he is an avid Railer basketball follower as far as following our YouTube feed during the season.
So there you go.
I was watching those games. I was really excited because I had already made plans to go to the game in Springfield. I mean, literally, I was flying. I made my plane flight on Tuesday afternoon, so I could get there. I was arriving at 4:30. I already had my car rental available. I was going to drive right to Springfield where they were playing. And then I was also made my return flight on Sunday after the state championship game. I was going to go to their last 3 games if Lincoln had a chance. So, like everyone else, I was really disappointed when the season got suspended and canceled.
Yeah, well, we would have had a headset ready for you. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But maybe next March.
Well, I'll tell you what, that group was very special. I don't have to tell you guys that. You told it all the time. And I don't know if I've ever seen a collective group of high school players that could shoot as well as that group could.
Yeah.
And create off the dribble. It was very impressive, those guys.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got to wrap it up. Jim doesn't pay us overtime.
Okay. I'll let you go.
Thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right. Thanks,
Scott.
Stay well. Stay safe.
Yep, you too.
You too. That's Scott Betzelberger, Lincoln Community High School graduate.
Or bus boom.
Or bus boom.
Bus boom. Oh, very well known as Scott Bus boom.
I mean, he didn't know how to pronounce it. Well, you weren't even close.
He was saying some good.
But you got to give him credit. He tried.
And then he stayed on the line so no one else could call. That's the thing.
As he was Googling.
Yeah, he's probably Googling.
Well, he knew the background, Decatur, stuff like that. Just didn't know the last name. And, he did, I guess, kind of change his name. So
I tell you, what a career, though.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That's kind of
not only just when he was, laid off, the stuff that just kind of popped up. And that's a testament to him on his work when these high-profile places are calling you to fill in. That's pretty special. Yep. All right, well, that's going to do it for us today. Great show. Sam Knox calling in, and something that we're going to try to make work next week. I want to talk to somebody about the state tournament moving from Peoria to Champaign. We should have talked to Sam about it. Unfortunately, Jake did not bring an agenda.
Yeah, I didn't bring the agenda.
So maybe we can get somebody on the line with us next week. That's going to do it for us today at Four Corners Lube. If you need an oil change, come on. No appointment necessary. Give them a call at 217-735-2761. We'll talk to you next week from
Somewhere in
maybe
this area.
downtown.
6.3 FM.
Yeah, all right. We don't know where, but we know what time.
Good day.
The Cheap Seats Live Saturday morning sports show on WLCN 96.3 and WLCNonline.com is brought to you by Jake's Furnishings, 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Furnish your home for less at Jake's. The Grimaldi Law Office, Logan County's only law firm dedicated exclusively to the practice of criminal law. Phone 651-8